And welcome back to The Big Question. Thank you for staying with us. Time for our discussion now. Let me introduce my guests to you. To my right is Charles Owino, the police spokesman, and to my left is Bishop Alfred Rotich, who's chairing the steering committee preparing for this historic papal visit, which begins tomorrow. You're both welcome to the program. Thank you so much for coming. Bishop Rotich, if we could, just before we discuss the papal visit, very quickly comment on the cabinet reshuffle that took place today, to the extent that public outcry has been over the caliber of leaders, and the president yesterday saying that the church has a role to play in terms of inculcating a sense of right and responsibility when it comes to the vice of corruption, which sent home at least 5 of the cabinet secretaries, the big losers we're calling them, this evening. What are your thoughts on this evening's reshuffle?
Well, this is the jurisdiction of the president and his team, but what comes to us from a reshuffle is that I think they're inculcating the spirit of freshness, renewal within government, and the service provision by the government to the people, and it demands of such leadership as a government to offer value, service laden to the people, and the people demand integrity, transparency and accountability.
Do you see it as a key precedent to the Pope's visit?
Not really, not really. Well, the coming of the Holy Father is coming to bless us. And we are all praying in our different duties that he will come and affirm us. So I think, well, it was normally many things trigger a lot of things. So I am not tying it to the coming of the Holy Father, but it is it's the jurisdiction of the president to do within his purview. But I'm saying, well, if
at least now he may not be coming home to headlines of corruption unabated in a cabinet with inaction from the presidency.
Well, if it is inspired by the coming of the Holy Father, so that is a big prayer, because it launches even as a country, because the Pope is not coming to solve our problem, but he's coming to meet us while we are on the road, and he encourages us and gives us peace, he gives us hope, and he gives us also to internalize what we call renewing of self, beginning from the individual.
Right.
And if the leaders are taking the lead in ushering a new wave, this is in accordance with the gospel, because we need people to be rejuvenated again. And we are entering as a church a period of Advent, which is clearly the preparation for the celebration of Christmas, the birth of Jesus Christ, and then launching ourselves to the new year. I like the idea that was brought, even the bishop spoke about it, on reconciliation and National Prayer Day. So if it meets us, this National Prayer Day meets the government when it is already taking a step to renew itself, then it is a great moment for prayer.
All right. Good move, good timing is what I hear you saying. Charles, do you expect the city to literally grind to a halt tomorrow, and specifically for Nairobi residents? So what would you say are the no-go zones, bearing in mind that tomorrow, though the Pope is arriving, is not a public holiday, that will be on Thursday?
I don't think it's going to be a no-go zone as such, because tomorrow the program for the Pope literally starts at about 5, and that is when we are going to close some of the major roads, like the State House Avenue, Kenyatta Avenue, Uhuru Highway, Chiromu Road, Waiyaki Way, the Kabasiran Avenue, Mombasa Road and Manyani Road. But all the time from morning hours up to about 5, you need to go about your normal business. But equally, even on other days, like on Thursday, when we are going to have a lot of activities, the human traffic will still be allowed in town. You can line up and greet the Pope. We will have good security, huge security. We are quite prepared. And
okay, so from tomorrow, Nairobi residents can line Mombasa Road?
Yes, especially in the evening when he's coming in.
Okay.
I think it is not bad to line up and say jambo to the Holy Father as he comes into the country. But majorly, what we will not allow is the motor vehicles, especially into the roads because of security reasons. But for the human population, you are welcome. You are allowed. And,
all right.
There are a lot of programs, and especially like on Thursday, for example, when we are going to, in the morning he's going to meet the religious, all religious faiths. When it is Muslim, Hindu, he will meet all of them on Thursday morning. And then at 10, they will be amassed at the university grounds. And at the university grounds, we will only admit those persons who are invited with the cards. But the rest of members of the public will be watching the big screens at Nyayo Stadium, at Uhuru Park, at the Central Park. So it is important to note that when on Thursday, when we are having the mass at the university ground, then only those with the card will be allowed at the university ground. But the rest of us will be at Uhuru Park, at the Central Park, the Nyayo Stadium. But then, when if the number will be too large for Central Park, Uhuru Park, and Nyayo Stadium, then we have still given space at the City Stadium, and there will be a big screen at that particular place. So
another location, City Stadium, if you're not able to go to those overflow areas. Bishop Rotich, there was the registration process. Can one still seek to be accommodated at UN grounds tomorrow, or has that process been closed?
I think the message that went out to the dioceses was clear that at the UN ground, that is University of Nairobi, there is a very important item, that is the altar. And we increase even the volume of of the personnel or the people who are going to participate, because the area of the altar needs space, and we need an environment whereby the Pope and the cardinals and the bishops and the priests are able to perform their function for and on behalf of the people. So this area is limited given the area space, and we calibrated, we measured the distance, we also the square feet around it where people can sit and stand, and we estimate 200,000 people
be able to take up that space.
And therefore, with the help of the screens and the media, they will be able to project the mass from the altar to the rest of the...
So you're basically saying no, tomorrow you cannot you cannot be registered. How do you accommodate then non-Catholics who have not been, in parishes, to hear this message, this briefings that you've been given, but still want to participate?
Yes, and I would want to say again that people who are entering the university ground are on invitation, the cards, and they are being distributed, and there is a need to be checked. They need to be spruced by the police or the security people, and then entry is by invitation. The rest of the places now are free, and we allowed that we go to the Central Park, Uhuru Park, Nyayo Stadium, City Stadium, and we welcome even non-Christians, all peoples of goodwill, to come and participate. But given that it is a Catholic Mass, during time of communion, then we will request those who are Catholics to process for the Holy Communion. But the readings, the Gospel and the reading and even the sermon of the Pope needs everybody to listen to.
Okay, well, what kind of security checks should those who are going to be attending these masses or the different overflow areas be prepared to go through?
No more security checks. The most important thing is to ask members of the public or all persons that will be coming to these areas, security areas, to cooperate with us. We really need cooperation, because with large numbers, sometimes people can push to get in. You see what happens at the pilgrimage. We don't want a replica of that.
Would you, for instance, require them to carry their national identity documents, or can they just come as they are?
Definitely, if you are, for example, invited by card, It will not
other
just
than
be
the
the card.
in the overflow areas, in the city stadium, etc.
Those ones,
No.
you know, they are inviting everyone, including non-Catholic faithfuls, and even non-Christians are allowed. So what happens is that in those areas, people will line up orderly, and we have large number of officers, and then they'll be allowed even earlier before time.
How early will you be opening gates in the overflow areas?
Because the mass will be starting at around 10, so we'll open the gates as early as 7.
As early as 7 a.m.
Yes.
How many additional police officers have been deployed to secure Nairobi, which is expecting an influx of about 1 million pilgrims?
We have over 10,000 police officers, to be accurate 10,455 plus. And we still have others on standby that we can bring in at any time to ensure that there's appropriate security. Remember, we are covering quite large areas. With 1 million people coming into town extra, then it means areas of accommodation, roads and so on, and we have to be very vigilant also to ensure that petty crimes like muggings and so on are not there, to make sure that people can walk freely in town and go about their business even in late hours of the evening. So I think we have a lot of work for the next 3 days, and we are prepared for it. Officers have been briefed accordingly, and we have all levels of police officers, including various departments, including officers handling very technical issues, criminal investigators, and so on and so forth. Equally, we are in touch with other departments, ambulances, hospitals, and all that are on standby. So I can assure you that what we need from the public is simply cooperation. But when it comes to the security, let them be rest assured that we are prepared. I think we are prepared beyond what you expect.
All right. Yes. Bishop, what would then your call be to city residents who may have to put up with various inconveniences over this time? You can expect pressures on public transportation, having to walk long distances. How would you urge them to receive, if you like, the visitors, the pilgrims who will be coming here for these 3 days?
I think it is African, it is human to expect a visitor. And a visitor of the person of the Pope is visiting us all, and he has a message that will resonate in our environment and the peoples of Kenya. So we are asking them to be hospitable, to be courteous as we enter the city and the environs, that we encourage people to be also charitable, to even give directions, and to house what we call good etiquettes really in receiving visitors. And I think it is important for us to advocate and even bring as a brand of the Kenyan people. We say every time that Kenya ni watu wa furaha.
Right.
Yes, yes.
All right. Finally, of course, Thursday has been marked a public holiday, and specifically you know, government calling it a day of national reflection, of prayer. What are the things, Bishop, you think we should be pondering on, especially for those who may not share in the Christian faith?
Well, we are children of God. All of us are created in His image, and therefore we need to hold one another and to be brother's keeper. And the values of love, peace, and even virtues of honesty need to be around us, even as people come to listen to the message of the Holy Father. Because the messages that are coming from the sermon and also the liturgy is really a universal message. And therefore we encourage even people of other faiths to really be open, and they are welcome, and therefore to exchange and to feel that they are part and parcel of this fraternity. All
right, your final thoughts, Charles?
Basically what we are requesting still is cooperation, and we would like each and every Kenyan to take this opportunity, as we've been told, to pray together with everyone and ensure that there's peace in our country. I think this is a great opportunity for all of us, but from our part as security officers, our duty is to secure everyone, our visitors, the Pope, and everyone else. And I think we are going to do it. We are going to step up to make sure that everything is okay. And I hope with the cooperation of members of the public, then everything is going to be in order.
And I thank you both for that very useful information. We're taking a short break on The Big Question. We're back after this.